This is the incredible story of the Grateful Doe. On June 26, 1995, the bodies of two young men were found after they crashed their car into a tree on Route 58 West in Greensville County, Virginia. The men had no traces of any substances that would impair them when they were examined, so they ruled the fatal crash as an accident, theorizing that the driver must have fallen asleep behind the wheel. So the driver of the car was identified as a 21-year-old dude named Michael Hager. But when the police asked Michael's family who he was driving with that day, the family said they had no idea. The man was described to be between the ages of 15 and 21 years old. That means some mom is bound to come looking for this guy at some point, right? Days passed, then weeks passed, and still no one came forward to identify him. How can not one person have heard of or recognized this kid? The cops realized that they would have to try to figure out who this guy is by the minimal identifying clues found on him in the car. But just how much would the things found in your pocket reveal about you? The man earned his nickname the Grateful Doe because he was wearing a red tie-dye t-shirt with a Grateful Dead band logo on the front of it, and was also found with ticket stubs from a Grateful Dead concert in his pocket, from a concert in Washington, D.C. from June 24th and 25th, 1995. They also found a note on Grateful Doe with a phone number. Okay, there we go, that's a lead. They now quite possibly had a first name for our Grateful Doe, Jason. And a Jason Doe has got to be at least a little bit easier to find than a John Doe, right? They theorized that Michael picked up Jason because he was a fellow deadhead, a term coined for the band's loyal followers, who would occasionally follow the band on tour around the country. The problem with this theory, though, was that they realized the next concert was going to be in Michigan, and the two boys were driving south towards South Carolina in the opposite direction. Because Grateful Doe had severe injuries to his face, they couldn't post a photo of him for identification. So they had an artist do a facial reconstruction and release that instead. They were also able to get fingerprints off of the body, but when they ran it through their system, no matches came up. In 2012, a second facial reconstruction was made with more advanced 3D technology. This time, it's much better than the first, and it's released to the public. But at the time of the Grateful Doe's discovery, the internet was just a mere infant. Social media wasn't a thing. You couldn't ask people to share and repost so the word could get out about something. But even in the infancy of the internet, the web sleuths still lurked in the cyberspace shadows, waiting for their moment to shine. These cold case connoisseurs vowed to keep Grateful Doe's memory alive in the hopes of one day finding out his name and bringing his family closure. Reddit and Facebook were some of the many websites that played a large role in spreading the word about Grateful Doe's case. An entire subreddit called r/Grateful Doe was created, devoted to keeping the memory of Grateful Doe alive. The subreddit quickly gained popularity and began amassing thousands of members to join in the effort. In January of 2015, a moderator of the subreddit, who went by the name u/graymetal, posted the photo of Grateful Doe's reconstruction to Imgur, a public photo sharing site, and wrote in the description, "Do you recognize me? I have been without my name for nearly 20 years." Along with the photo, the user also posted the first rendering, the items found on him, as well as the clothing he was wearing. With hundreds of thousands of users on these websites every day, Jason's case had hit the spotlight like it never had before. Another post to Imgur was made by u/graymetal. It said, "Imgur, you helped identify the Grateful Doe. He has been positively identified as the missing man, Jason Callahan." The post explained that one day, a user who'd seen the photo on Imgur messaged Graymetal and was like, "Yo, I think I know who this is." The user said that he had a roommate from 1994 to 1995 who was around 18 or 19 at the time. He couldn't remember his last name, but the guy's name was definitely Jason. Graymetal and the user hopped on a call with some of the other roommates, and they agreed that the timelines and descriptions were strikingly similar. Some of his roommates sent photos of the blonde-haired, rock band-loving Jason, and the resemblance is uncanny. One day, the official Grateful Doe Facebook page received a post from a woman named Margareta, who wrote, "Oh my God, this is my son." She said his name was Jason Callahan, and he had been missing for 20 years. The Imgur Post concluded that DNA has been in process to confirm it ever since. Just as the Post had said, a snowball effect had happened once the tip from the roommate came in. By supplying the photos of Jason, who bore a strong resemblance to Grateful Doe, Jason's brother was eventually notified about the internet pages, which led to Margareta finding the Facebook page, which ultimately led her to finding her son. Margareta explained in the Post that they were from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Jason and Michael had been reportedly headed to South Carolina too. What if Jason had been hitchhiking home as opposed to following the band? Margareta said she had not seen her son since 1995. She explained that she never filed a missing persons report because she wasn't even sure which county to file it in, because Jason moved around the country all the time, and often without notice. She never knew what city he'd be in next. I can also understand that she probably didn't want to report him missing because she didn't want to accept the fact that not hearing from her son could have meant the worst. Maybe she wanted to believe that he was just off living happily on his own, as opposed to a more sinister option. And that is the incredible story of the finally identified Grateful Doe, Jason Callahan.